Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another Division 2 video. So the Backfire has been getting a lot of attention this season, and I'm sure many of you guys are already aware of this, so my curiosity got the better of me and I wanted to see what all the hype was about. And so I set one up for myself, which I actually showcased in my last video. And it's a bit funny because I'm not really big on SMGs. I actually prefer playing with assault rifles, believe it or not. But lately, I've been having a ton of fun with this weapon. Like, it's just crazy how much damage you can put out with this weapon. So I did a bit of build testing and put together 3 extremely powerful Backfire builds that I'll be showcasing for you guys in today's video. One of which has close to 100% hazard protection, so if the bleed from the Backfire is a problem for you, then you may favor that setup. Also, even if you're not really into SMGs like me, it won't hurt to have at least one good SMG loadout just in case. But anyways guys, without further ado, let's check out these Backfire builds. This first Backfire setup is a powerhouse, especially with the addition of both the Assault Link and loaded up modifiers. The Backfire is already a very powerful weapon, so with the addition of these modifiers, especially loaded up, the damage is incredible. So this setup capitalizes on the Hunter's Fury gear set, which is designed for a more aggressive playstyle. So it's going to be better suited for fast XP farming, open world farming, control points, things of that nature, because you're going to be dealing out a ton of close range damage, and that's not only going to make clearing endgame activity a lot easier, but a lot quicker as well. However, it does lack a bit of survivability, but having the Memento bag helps, since it provides armor regeneration and bonus armor. So for the primary weapon, the Backfire comes with the talent, payment in kind. So basically, dealing damage to enemies adds a stack of 2% critical hit damage, capping at 100 stacks. However, the downside to this is that when you reload, you apply a 10-second bleed to yourself that deals 0.5% armor damage per stack. So if you don't have any hazard protection, that damage is going to add up. So this is why I highly recommend having the safety first modifier equipped, because it's going to help increase your hazard protection by 7.5% for each stamina tier. So that's going to help counter the bleed. For the mask, a Hunter's Fury mask with armor, critical hit damage, and another critical hit damage mod. And for the vest, a Sokolov chest piece for the 10% SMG damage with weapon damage, critical hit damage, hazard protection, and a critical hit damage mod. And for the talent, I went with Intimidate. Intimidate is a really good talent for adding burst damage. You get over like 30% weapon damage within a very short period of time, but you only get that increased weapon damage while you have bonus armor active. For the holster, a second piece of Hunter's Fury with armor and critical hit damage, then a third piece of Fury with, again, armor and critical hit damage, and the fourth Hunter's Fury gloves with armor and critical hit chance. Then for the backpack, the exotic Memento bag. I know many of you still don't have this backpack yet, so don't worry too much about it because there are other great alternatives. Like you can go with another, Sokolov. You can go with another Sokolov piece to get that second piece, 13% critical hit damage bonus from the Sokolov brand set, right? Then you can roll Adrenaline Rush on it to help activate the Intimidate vest talent. Cheska and Grupo are also great options since they provide critical hit damage and chance increases. But with the Memento backpack, you're basically getting a premium package deal. For one, you get all 3 major core attributes, and with its native talent, Kill Confirmed, you're essentially getting a short and long-term buff. So for anyone who's new, basically, eliminating an enemy will drop a trophy that looks like tags. Collecting these tags provides both a short and long-term buff. The short-term buff will scale with the number of core attributes on your build. So these are the values you get per corresponding major core attributes. So if I were to collect a trophy with this setup, I'll get 10% weapon damage, 50% bonus armor, and 5% skill efficiency. But at the same time, you'll be stacking the long-term buff as well, which you can actually monitor the progress of under your status bar. Now, the Hunter's Fury gear set is designed for a more aggressive playstyle. So you get a nice 15% shotgun and SMG damage bonus for having 2 pieces. And for 3 pieces, you get 20% armor on kill and 50% health on kill. Then you get the Apex Predator talent for having 4 pieces. This talent will basically debuff any enemy within 15 meters of you, which will amplify your weapon damage to them by 20%. Then eliminating a debuffed enemy with your weapon will disorient other enemies within 5 meters, while amplifying your weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So you're getting a great deal of amplified weapon damage. However, you'll need to be within close range. For the stats, 56% critical hit chance and 144% critical hit damage on the Backfire, and about 42.5% hazard protection. And for the seasonal modifiers, Assault Link for the active, which grants you 5% weapon damage for every non-red core equipped. Then for the passive modifiers, Loaded Up, which basically increases your critical hit damage while at tier 5 firearms. Then the best kind of defense, which grants 2.5% headshot damage for every 100,000 total armor you have. And finally, Safety First, which will give you 7.5% hazard protection for each stamina tier. And for the weapon specialization, I went with Gunner for the extra 10% armor on kill bonus, so it stacks with the 20% you get from the Hunter's Fury set, which brings me to just a little over 500,000 armor back on kill. Okay guys, so this next Backfire setup is easily the strongest on this list. This is a 4-piece striker setup with the Backfire, very similar to the setup I showcased in a previous video. Striker is already a super powerful gear set, so if you factor in the Backfire, it becomes a powerhouse. With this setup, I'm running the Striker vest and Memento backpack for the extra damage and survivability. But if anyone here doesn't have the Memento bag, there's literally several different variations that work great, so no worries because I'll show you other options. But this setup is much better for running legendary difficulty content. But if you would rather just run heroic, this build will make heroic feel so much easier. It absolutely shreds, so it's gonna be like a walk in the park. So for the striker pieces, the mask and gloves are rolled with armor and critical hit damage. Also, if you're new, just keep in mind that masks, chest pieces, and backpacks come with mod slots. So this is why I'm able to add an extra 12% critical hit damage mod on the striker mask. And for the striker vest and knee pads, armor and critical hit chance, with another 12% critical hit damage mod on the vest. And for the holster, a y'all piece for the 10% hazard protection set bonus, with armor, hazard protection, and critical hit damage for the attributes, with the exotic Memento bag. Now you can also use this variation, so instead of Memento, I have the named Liquid Engineer backpack that comes with the perfect Bloodsucker talent. So it's a bit similar to Memento, you also get bonus armor, but you get 12% per kill, which can stack up to 10 times though, so it's a great alternative. Now another thing to note if you're a beginner is that all gear set chest pieces and backpacks come with their own unique talent that reinforces or supports any given gear set's 4-piece talent. So with the Striker's Gamble talent, for example, I'm basically getting increased weapon damage per stack, which caps at 100. But since I have the Striker vest, I get the Press the Advantage talent, which increases max stacks from 100 to 200, ultimately increasing my overall damage output. So this is why I'm using an ACS-12 shotgun. This is the named Rock and Roll ACS-12, and it's amazing for building up Striker's Gamble and Heartbreaker stacks. However, if you're not using the Striker vest, you won't really need it, because it's really not that hard getting max stacks if you're not using the vest, so it's optional. But here's another variation that I made in a previous video. This version has great burst damage with the Intimidate talent, so you can go with either a Y'all or a Sokolov vest. Y'all might be better though because of the 10% hazard protection bonus. Striker is so powerful that all of these different versions are viable and will perform very well. For the stats, 60% critical hit chance and 132% critical hit damage on the Backfire. with 60% hazard protection. And for the skills, I'm currently running the Striker Ballistic Shield and Decoy. The Striker Shield comes with the Firewall Weapon specialization, and it actually helps boost your damage based on the number of enemies in front of your shield. So if you have any damage bonus mods, that will help increase the value of that damage. Mine is at 13% per enemy, which is pretty crazy. And for the seasonal modifiers, literally the same as the previous setup, so Assault Link, loaded up, the best kind of defense, and safety first. So again, the safety first modifier is going to help counter the bleed from the Backfire, so I highly recommend using this mod if you have it unlocked. But if you still feel like you could use more hazard protection, then this next setup may spark your interest. This next Backfire setup has a lot more hazard protection while still maintaining a great amount of DPS. This build also uses all high-end gear pieces, so no exotics, but I also have a nice amount of armor on kill bonuses stacked with this setup, which is really good for survivability. So with all the armor on kill bonuses, I'm getting back just a little over 500,000 armor per kill. And if you factor in the armor regeneration on this setup, which isn't that much, but still, when it's combined with a decent amount of armor on kill, it amplifies your overall survivability. Especially with all the bonus armor coming from Bloodsucker, while all that bonus armor is active, it gives you more time to regenerate your armor. But there are times when I'm about to go down, like in this clip right here, and the armor on kill bonuses literally saved my life. Like in just a couple of kills, my armor went from red to halfway full. So the armor on kill is really nice on this setup. For the mask, a Sokolov mask with armor, hazard protection, critical hit damage, and another critical hit damage mod. And I also get an extra 10% SMG damage from the brand set bonus. For the vest, a 511 piece with armor, critical hit chance and damage with a critical hit damage mod. And for the talent, I'm using Intimidate. For the holster, a Bellstone piece with armor, armor regen, and critical hit damage. You can also go with more hazard protection instead of armor regen, like if you want the extra hazard protection. And for the knee pads, another 511 piece with armor and crits, then a third piece, which is actually the name Death Grip Gloves, so I get a 10% armor on kill bonus with critical hit damage. I honestly can't remember where I got these gloves from, but if anyone's wondering where you can get this, you can probably try your luck with named or proficiency caches, but as far as getting it as a loot drop, they might be Dark Zone exclusive, but you can also try getting them from conflict caches as well. But for the backpack, I'm using the named Liquid Engineer bag with armor, armor regeneration, critical hit damage, and a critical hit damage mod. So this named bag comes with the perfect Bloodsucker talent, and it's another DZ exclusive item, so you can obtain this the same way as the Death Grips gloves. But I get a 1% armor regeneration bonus, as well as a 10% armor on kill bonus for having 2 pieces of the Bellstone set, and a nice 30% added hazard protection from the 3-piece 511 set, and for the stats, 60% critical hit chance and 168% critical hit damage on the Backfire with 80% hazard protection. And for the skills, the Ballistic Shield for the added survivability, since this is a close range build for rushing, and the Banshee Pulse for crowd control. And for the weapon specialization, remember that you get a 10% armor on kill bonus from the skill tree. So with all the armor on kill bonuses, that brings me to just a little over 500,000 armor back per kill. And for the seasonal modifiers, same as the previous 2 setups. So Assault Link, loaded up, the best kind of defense, and safety first. This is Prajna. That'll do it for today's video, guys. I really hope these builds help, or at least it gave you an idea for a build of your own. Also, if anyone's interested, I do have a Discord server with an amazing community of Division players, so if anyone needs help with anything in-game related, or if you have any questions, feel free to join. A link will be in the description. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and see you in the next video. Peace out.